Welcome to this deep dive. We're exploring some really fascinating ideas today around inner freedom. And looking through the material you sent, one thing that really jumped out was gratitude. How this practice connects to feeling, well, liberated.
Yes, indeed. Gratitude.
Yeah.
It sounds simple, doesn't it?
It really does, like just saying thank you.
Exactly. But when you really explore it, you find it prompts this huge shift in perspective.
A shift. How so?
Well, moving away from always focusing on what's missing
Okay.
and towards appreciating what's actually already here in our lives.
That makes me think of, that image, the Buddhist monk with just the empty bowl.
Ah, yes, the begging bowl.
Right, it starts empty, maybe symbolizing that wanting more.
That constant seeking.
But then every little offering some rice, some water, it becomes this moment of gratitude, right?
Yeah.
Quiet nod to having enough.
It's a beautiful symbol. It connects very deeply with the Buddhist idea of sentuthi, which is often translated as contentment, but it's not passive. It's not about just settling.
Not settling. That's interesting. So it's not just accepting less?
No, not at all. It's more like an active seeing, recognizing the abundance that's already around us.
But we miss it.
So often, yeah. We're chasing the next thing, aren't we? That future happiness. And we completely overlook the blessings right under our noses.
So sentuthi is like seeing the glass is full, even if you are maybe hoping for a bigger glass.
That's a great way to put it. Actively recognizing what is full.
That feels like a really important distinction.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it feels like we're always scanning for that one missing piece, the key insight. And we miss all the valuable stuff right here. So how do we actually do that? How do we train ourselves to see that fullness?
Well, there's a story that comes to mind about a wandering monk who meets a beggar, a man who's truly destitute, feeling crushed by his hardship.
Right. Overwhelmed.
Exactly. And he sees the monk who seems to have nothing, yet looks so peaceful. And the beggar asks him, how can you smile like that when you own nothing?
That's it. Yeah, that really cuts to the heart of how we think about happiness, doesn't it?
Right.
Equating stuff with peace.
Precisely. His focus is all external, on what's lacking.
So what does the monk say?
The monk very gently kneels down beside him and asks, "Friend, tell me, what do you still possess?"
Oh, wow.
The beggar is resistant at first, naturally, but the monk keeps asking, gently guiding him.
Guiding him to see what?
To notice his breath, the feeling of the sun on his skin, even just the fact that he can think, can feel. Slowly, it dawns on him.
That even with nothing, he still has something.
Yeah.
A lot, actually.
Exactly. He retains so much just by being alive.
That story,
Yeah.
it just paints such a clear picture of how powerful a perspective shift can be. Even in really tough times, there are aspects of just being that we can acknowledge.
And the monk's questions are key, aren't they? That gentle redirection.
Yeah, turning the focus inward, away from the emptiness towards what's left, what remains.
It really gets at this profound truth. Gratitude isn't about pretending pain doesn't exist.
Right, it's not denial.
No, it's about consciously choosing where to place your attention, focusing on what's still there, even amidst the difficulty.
That makes sense. And it feels connected to, isn't there a Buddhist concept about things always changing?
Anicca, yes, impermanence.
Right, Annika. So gratitude helps with that too.
In a way, yes, because everything changes, even the hard times. Gratitude helps us find and acknowledge those moments of light, those good things, knowing that darkness doesn't last forever either.
It's really striking how this ancient wisdom, it seems to line up so well with modern science.
It does, doesn't it?
Your sources mention positive psychology research.
Yeah.
And apparently, practicing gratitude actually, it rewires our brains.
That's what the research suggests. Dr. Robert Emmons, he's a big name in this field. His work shows people who consistently practice gratitude tend to report, well, less stress, they sleep better, and just feel happier overall.
Less stress, better sleep, more happiness, just from saying thanks.
Well, from the practice of gratitude. And think about that feeling of contentment that's Santuthi. Science shows gratitude triggers dopamine release.
Dopamine, the feel-good chemical.
Exactly. The same one we get when we achieve something. So each time we genuinely feel and express thanks, it's like a little natural boost for our brain chemistry. It's quite powerful when you think about it.
It really is. And what's interesting is how both the Buddhist approach and the science really stress that it's intentional. It's not passive.
Absolutely. It's not just waiting to feel grateful.
Right. You have to actively look for those good moments, even tiny ones, like a kind word from someone or just noticing something beautiful outside.
That intentionality is crucial. It's a conscious choice, much like in meditation, where you choose where to direct your focus.
So you're deliberately focusing on the positive.
Yes, and by doing that deliberately, you're actually strengthening those positive pathways in your brain over time.
Okay, let's make this really practical. One of the articles you shared had a story about Sarah, a young woman in New York.
Ah, yes, Sarah's story. Very relatable.
She was feeling totally burnt out, anxious, started a gratitude journal.
And it wasn't easy at first, right? It felt a bit forced.
Yeah, exactly. But she stuck with it. And gradually, her entries got more specific. She started noticing tiny things.
Like what?
Oh, a stranger's smile on the subway, a really nice sunset, even just a quiet moment with her coffee before the day started.
Those small things, the micro moments.
Right. And the sources highlighted how just noticing those consistently,
Yeah.
it changed everything for her.
It shifted her whole mindset, didn't it? It wasn't about big dramatic events. It was the buildup of appreciating those small, everyday gifts.
Yeah. And she found her mornings felt different. Her work felt more meaningful somehow. Gratitude became like a different lens to see her life through.
A lens. That's a good way to put it.
Even the challenges started to look different. Less like just roadblocks and more like opportunities. For learning, maybe.
Which really shows that gratitude isn't about ignoring the hard stuff.
No.
It's more about changing how we relate to it. By anchoring ourselves in what's still good, even when things are tough, we build up resilience, a better perspective.
So the main takeaway here seems to be that gratitude isn't just a mood that comes and goes.
No, it's more like a skill, an active discipline.
Something you have to cultivate, like tending a garden.
Exactly like tending garden. It needs regular nurturing.
But the amazing thing is, it doesn't seem to require hours and hours. Just a few minutes each day.
Just a small amount of time, but consistently applied. That's the key. Brief, regular attention really does yield big results down the line.
Okay, so that brings us to wanting to understand this a bit more deeply. Where does this practice actually come from? Your sources looked at both the ancient Buddhist roots and also the modern scientific backing.
Yes, it's fascinating how they converge. You have this deep spiritual wisdom on one hand,
Right.
and empirical scientific evidence on the other, and they both point to the profound impact of gratitude on our well-being. It gives a really rounded picture.
It's not just a nice idea then. It has real foundations.
Deep philosophical roots and scientific validation, yes.
So diving into the Buddhist side,
Yeah.
there's this idea of right mind, sammasankappa.
Yeah.
Part of the Eightfold Path.
That's right, sammasankappa. It involves cultivating thoughts of, well, letting go of goodwill and of harmlessness.
Okay, so letting go, goodwill, harmlessness. How does that connect directly to gratitude? It doesn't seem obvious at first.
Well, think about what gets in the way of gratitude, what blocks it. Often it's things like greed, always wanting more, or anger, resentment, or just seeing things in a distorted way, delusion.
Ah, okay. So right mind is about clearing away those obstacles.
Precisely. It's about creating a mental space that's free from those hindrances, those things that cloud our ability to see and appreciate what's good.
That makes so much sense because those negative states, they really do act like barriers, don't they?
They absolutely do. If your mind is just consumed by wanting, or by anger, or by seeing things negatively, it's almost impossible to genuinely feel thankful for what you have.
It's true. How many times does a negative thought just hijack a good moment? Like someone gives you a compliment, but your mind instantly digs up some old criticism. Or you're having a peaceful moment and suddenly you're replaying some argument.
Those patterns are like filters, aren't they? Coloring everything gray. Buddhism teaches us to notice those thoughts.
Just notice them.
Observe them without getting caught up in them. See them as like clouds passing by, temporary, not the whole truth.
And then gently redirect. Is that the idea?
Yes. Gently bring your focus back. So if you feel envy popping up because someone else got something, instead of feeding it, you could consciously acknowledge their success, perhaps wish them well, and then gently turn your attention back to your own life, your own blessings.
So it's not just about being polite on the outside. It's an internal shift.
It's about freeing yourself from that negativity internally, creating space to appreciate what you have. That reframing is incredibly powerful.
And by choosing the positive focus, you weaken the grip of the negative ones.
Exactly. You strengthen your capacity for appreciation.
And it seems like gratitude then has this this ripple effect. Like the more you look for the good, the more good you actually see.
It certainly feels that way. It's like planting seeds, as you said. Tend the positive ones and they flourish.
So practicing gratitude is almost like self-discipline for the mind, consciously nurturing your inner garden.
It becomes a virtuous cycle. Gratitude brings positive feelings, which makes you more open to noticing good things, which feeds more gratitude.
Okay, bringing it back to the science again. Dr. Emmons's work with gratitude journals seems to directly show this cycle.
Yes, his studies are quite clear. People who regularly write down things they're thankful for consistently report higher well-being.
And less depression and anxiety, too,
Yeah.
right?
Reduced symptoms, yes, is quite significant.
And the brain scans you mentioned, they actually show activity in reward centers.
They do. Areas like the hypothalamus, which helps manage stress,
Okay.
and the VTA, the ventral tegmental area, which is involved in releasing dopamine. Gratitude seems to light up these positive areas.
Wow. So our brains are almost wired to reward gratitude.
It certainly looks that way,
Okay.
which aligns beautifully with the Buddhist emphasis on cultivating wholesome mind states, doesn't it?
It really does. Just like meditating might strengthen pathways for calm, practicing gratitude seems to reinforce the brain circuits for joy, for resilience. It actually shapes our brains over time.
It suggests these ancient practices have real measurable effects on our biology, not just philosophical ideas.
And another thing that struck me was how universal this seems to be. It works across ages, cultures, different backgrounds.
Yes, the benefits seem remarkably consistent. People report better relationships, even better physical health sometimes, and just more satisfaction with life.
That universality. It makes me think of another Buddhist idea, interdependence. Pratityasamutpada.
Ah, yes. The idea that everything is interconnected.
And is that linked to gratitude?
Well, when we feel grateful, we often recognize how much we depend on others, on circumstances, on things beyond ourselves. We see that web of connection.
Ah, I see. So gratitude reinforces that feeling of being connected, not isolated.
Exactly. It acknowledges our reliance on the whole system, strengthening those bonds and fostering a sense of shared existence.
There's another powerful story in the sources about James, someone dealing with chronic illness.
Yes. James's story was very moving, dealing with constant pain, fatigue, feeling like his body was letting him down.
A really dark place, it sounded like.
It often is in those situations, and that's often where gratitude can have the most profound impact.
A friend suggested the journal.
Yes. And like Sarah, it started small, simple entries, but then
He started noticing things, despite the illness.
little things first. The kindness of a caregiver, the warmth of the sun, his family's support. And over time, something shifted profoundly for him. His mood improved. His energy even felt a bit more stable. But more than that, he found a new sense of purpose.
Purpose? How?
Instead of just being defined by the illness, he started seeing it almost as a teacher, a catalyst for becoming more aware, more present. Gratitude became his anchor in the storm.
That's incredible. It shows so clearly that gratitude isn't about pretending the suffering isn't there.
Not at all. It's about finding those anchors, those points of light and meaning within the suffering, reframing the whole narrative.
And that feels so important. Gratitude doesn't make problems vanish.
No.
But it equips us. It gives us more courage, more resilience to face them.
Which ties right back into the Buddhist understanding of dukkha, or suffering. It's part of life.
Right. It's unavoidable.
But our response to it, that's what shapes our experience. And gratitude offers a way to respond with resilience, focusing on what remains good.
So for listeners who are feeling inspired now, who want to bring more gratitude into their lives, what are some simple, practical first steps?
Start really small. Maybe just begin each day naming 3 things. Just 3 things you feel genuinely thankful for.
3 things, okay? Doesn't have to be huge.
Absolutely not. Often it's the smallest things, a good cup of coffee, a moment of quiet that resonate most deeply.
And you mentioned being specific earlier. That helps.
Yes, specificity makes it more real. So instead of grateful for health, maybe grateful I could walk in the park today without pain. It connects you more to the feeling.
Okay, be specific. What else?
Maybe try some mindful reflection at night, just before sleep. Take a minute or 2, think back. What went well today? Who was kind to me? What pleasant thing happened?
Bookending the day.
Oh,
I like
yeah.
that. Reinforces the positive.
Exactly. And don't keep it all inside. Express it.
Tell people.
Yes. A simple, heartfelt thank you to someone can make their day, and it definitely amplifies your own feeling of gratitude, too.
That's true. It feels good to say it.
And maybe create little rituals. Maybe during your morning coffee, take a moment just to appreciate the quiet or the warmth. Or before eating, just a brief pause of thanks. Weave it into things you already do.
These all sound very doable, not overwhelming.
They are. It's about consistency, not grand gestures. Small, regular efforts add up.
Like the water drops shaping the stone.
Precisely. These simple practices, done regularly, will gradually reshape your mindset, your experience.
Which brings us nicely to this idea of just 10 minutes a day. How that small commitment can actually lead to significant personal evolution.
Yes, that 10-minute idea, it sounds almost too simple, maybe.
A little bit. Can 10 minutes really make that much difference?
It's the consistency that holds the power,
Yeah.
doing it day after day.
I had this image, like standing on the edge of a huge canyon.
Right.
On one side is the past, all your history. On the other, the future, unknown. And this daily 10 minutes of gratitude, it's like a ritual that anchors you right here in the present. But it also kind of builds a bridge, connecting where you've been to where you might be going. Does that make sense?
It's a beautiful way to think about it, a ritual of presence. It stops us from getting lost in regrets about the past or anxieties about the future. It grounds us right here, right now.
And in making it a conscious choice, setting aside those 10 minutes, it stops it being just another routine thing we do on autopilot.
Exactly. It becomes mindful, intentional. You're actively choosing to engage with the good things, the blessings.
Stepping out of autopilot mode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Elevating it from just habit to a meaningful practice.
Now, here's something from the sources that I found really interesting, maybe even a bit counterintuitive. This idea that gratitude actually requires vulnerability.
Ah, yes. That's a subtle but important point.
Vulnerability, how so?
Well, to be truly, deeply grateful, you often have to acknowledge the whole picture, the full spectrum of life, the ups and the downs. You can't just selectively appreciate the easy bits.
So you have to be open to the difficult stuff too, to fully appreciate the good.
In a way, yes. It requires an openness to your whole experience, joy and sorrow alike, not trying to block anything out.
And that leads to another surprising idea, being grateful for what isn't.
Gratitude for absence.
We usually think of being grateful for what we have, but thinking about things we don't have, like not being sick or a crisis that didn't happen, that can also spark gratitude.
Absolutely. The absence of a negative can sharply highlight the value of the positive we might take for granted, like appreciating your health much more after you've recovered from an illness.
Or maybe appreciating stability after navigating a challenge that could have been much worse. It connects back to Annika again, maybe. Impermanence.
Yes, recognizing that things could be different, that hardship could be present but isn't right now.
Yeah.
That can bring a profound sense of relief and appreciation for the current moment. It builds resilience too.
Okay, so for everyone listening, here's a direct invitation, a little challenge maybe. Start that gratitude journal, like today.
Yeah.
Right after this. Grab a notebook, open an app, whatever works, and just write down 3 things. 3 things you feel genuinely thankful for right now.
Just start. 3 things.
And then the challenge part. Commit to doing it every day for, say, 30 days,
Yeah.
just to build the habit.
That 30-day commitment is great. It really helps embed the practice, lets you feel the cumulative effects. Consistency is everything here.
And a little tip that came up in the reading, when you write things down, try to be really specific. Engage your senses.
Ah, yes. Make it vivid.
Right, so instead of grateful for coffee, maybe grateful for the warm mug in my hands, the rich smell, make it sensory.
That definitely deepens the feeling. It makes the gratitude more embodied, more emotionally resonant.
And remember to include the intangible stuff too, right? Not just physical things.
Oh, absolutely. Moments of peace, a good conversation, insight, kindness received. Those are often the most precious gifts.
And we touched on this before, but it's worth repeating. Gratitude is kind of contagious.
Yeah, it really is. It has that ripple effect.
When you express it, it genuinely seems to inspire others. It strengthens connections, that interdependence thing again. Partijasamapada.
Exactly. Expressing thanks outwardly builds bridges, fosters goodwill, creates a more positive atmosphere for everyone.
So maybe, alongside the journal, try weaving in more verbal thank yous. Tell someone you appreciate them. Leave a kind note. Small things.
Those small gestures can spread so much positivity. They benefit the receiver, but also reinforce the grateful state in the giver.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, I think it's worth acknowledging that practicing gratitude, really embracing it, it does take a kind of courage.
Courage. In what sense?
Well, the courage to look honestly at life, complexities and all, to find the light even when things are dark or difficult. to be vulnerable, like you said.
Yes, the courage to face the fullness of experience and still choose to focus on the good that remains.
But the payoff, it seems immense. More wisdom, maybe? More kindness, definitely more resilience, a stronger sense of connection.
The rewards are truly profound, a deeper engagement with life itself.
So ultimately, the power to shift our reality, to move from feeling scarcity to feeling abundance, it really is within us.
It is.
And it can start with something as simple as 10 minutes a day, 10 minutes of conscious gratitude.
Such a small investment of time for such potentially transformative results.
So, the final thought for you, our listener, is really a question. Are you ready? Ready to take that first step and begin your own gratitude practice?
Maybe right now is the perfect time. Just open that journal or that notes app and write down those first 3 things.
Your future self will definitely thank you for it.